Welcome to my channel, F1 News. This wasn't just another qualifying session. This was the first real moment this season where Max Verstappen looked like a genuine threat again. On paper, Kimi Antonelli grabbed pole position. But looking closer, Verstappen was only 0.166 seconds behind. And that came after a run of races where Red Bull had been struggling and far from their best. What stands out is that Verstappen didn't just appear at the end. The signs were already visible in Q2, where he posted the fastest time and carried that momentum into Q3. More importantly, Verstappen himself confirmed the shift. He said the team had nearly closed the gap to the frontrunners with these upgrades and that the car felt significantly better in qualifying. That's not a minor gain. That's a clear signal that Red Bull's fundamental problems are beginning to be solved. Mercedes may still be leading. Antonelli has now claimed 3 consecutive poles, but underneath that, things aren't entirely comfortable. George Russell admitted tire management remains a concern around this circuit. That tells us their advantage isn't fully locked in, especially heading into race day. And then there's the weather. With rain in the forecast and new rain hazard regulations in play, strategy could become completely unpredictable. In those conditions, Verstappen's experience has historically made the difference. So the question becomes, was this just a tight qualifying session, or is this the beginning of a genuine comeback from Verstappen and Red Bull? One that could start putting real pressure on Mercedes. If you want to understand why this is bigger than just a P2, keep watching, because we're breaking it all down right now. To truly understand why this matters, you have to look beyond the headline and examine how this performance was actually built. Verstappen's lap in Q3 didn't come out of nowhere. It was the result of a session where he consistently operated at or near the absolute limit of what the car could deliver. In Q1, he was already competitive on used tires, setting a solid reference without needing to push immediately. In Q2, he went fastest, not by accident, but by extracting performance in conditions that were shifting with wind and changing track grip. That Q2 lap is particularly significant because it showed Verstappen could find performance without depending on a perfect final run. Then in Q3, when everything counted, he improved again, becoming one of very few drivers able to find additional lap time on their final attempt. That progression, competitive baseline, peak performance, final refinement is exactly what you expect from a driver-car combination that is beginning to function properly again. Earlier this season, that simply wasn't the case. Verstappen had openly spoken about discomfort with the RB22, particularly around balance and rear instability. In the sprint race here in Miami, those issues hadn't completely disappeared. He described how the rear was bouncing heavily, especially through slower corners, causing the tires to lose contact with the tarmac. That behavior doesn't just cost lap time. It destroys driver confidence, which then limits how aggressively you can attack. What Miami now suggests is that Red Bull has taken a meaningful step toward resolving those problems, not eliminating them entirely, but reducing their impact enough that Verstappen can operate closer to the limit more consistently. He reinforced this after qualifying, explaining that he now feels more in control of the car and can therefore push harder. That's a subtle but crucial shift. Control always comes before speed. The upgrades themselves were extensive. Red Bull revised key aerodynamic components, including front wing elements, floor geometry, and rear wing mechanisms designed to improve both load and stability. There were also changes aimed at improving airflow efficiency around the front wheels and side pods. Together, these updates were clearly targeting the car's unpredictable balance, the exact issue Verstappen had been raising, and the effect was visible almost immediately, within a single weekend. This has been described as Red Bull's strongest performance of the 2026 season so far, and that's difficult to dispute. Not because they took pole, but because they came this close to doing so under circumstances that previously would have left them several tenths adrift. Set against that is the continued dominance of Mercedes, which remains the benchmark under the new regulations. Antonelli's pole lap was clean, controlled, and ultimately decisive. He set his time early in Q3 and despite pushing again on his final run, didn't need to improve. That alone reflects confidence, both in the lap and in the car. Antonelli described the session simply, saying the car felt good and he managed to put a clean lap together. No signs of struggle there, but the broader Mercedes picture is more layered. While Antonelli has delivered 3 consecutive poles, his teammate has not matched that level of execution. Russell's P5 reflects a session where things didn't fully come together, and more importantly, where underlying issues persist. His admission that tire management is still a problem here is not something you can overlook. Miami is a circuit where thermal degradation can dictate strategy, particularly across longer stints. If Mercedes cannot consistently manage tire temperatures, their qualifying edge may not convert into race dominance. This is exactly where Verstappen's position becomes strategically powerful. Starting from P2, he is not only in direct contention into turn 1, but perfectly placed to dictate strategy relative to Antonelli. An aggressive start could immediately shift track position. Alternatively, staying within range opens options: the undercut by pitting earlier to gain position, or the overcut by extending the first stint and capitalizing on cleaner air, or superior tire management. Red Bull has traditionally excelled in precisely these scenarios. Their capacity to adapt strategy mid-race, combined with Verstappen's tire management skills, often creates opportunities even when outright pace isn't dominant. If the qualifying gap is now marginal, those strategic strengths become considerably more powerful. The sprint race offered an imperfect but useful reference point. Verstappen finished 5th, but his race was compromised early. He reported losing boost completely coming out of the final corner on lap 1, which cost him several positions. Despite that, once the issue cleared, he began closing back on the cars ahead and setting some of the fastest laps toward the end. That pattern, setback followed by recovery through consistent pace, indicates a car that is workable over a stint, even if not yet flawless. It also reinforces the idea that Red Bull's underlying race pace could be stronger than their sprint result suggests. Meanwhile, McLaren adds another dimension to this picture. Their 1-2 in the sprint demonstrated genuine pace, and Lando Norris was clear about the impact of their upgrades, saying the car felt significantly better than they had expected. Yet in qualifying, both McLaren drivers encountered problems, Norris with a boost concern and Piastri with a power issue, leaving them 4th and 7th respectively. This creates a layered race scenario. Verstappen must deal not only with Antonelli ahead, but also with potentially quicker McLarens behind. However, his starting position provides a crucial advantage: track position. In modern Formula One, especially on circuits like Miami, with limited overtaking opportunities outside doctor zones, starting ahead often dictates the terms of the entire race. Then there's Ferrari, quietly consistent in the background. Charles Leclerc qualified 3rd, while Lewis Hamilton took 6th. Ferrari has been considered one of the strongest chassis packages this season, and their Miami upgrades were extensive, targeting aerodynamic load and efficiency across the car. While not the central story here, they remain a genuine factor in the competitive balance. Hamilton's comments capture the uncertainty well. He noted it had been a tricky weekend, but acknowledged that with the weather forecast unpredictable, anything could happen. That uncertainty isn't incidental. It's central to how this race may unfold. The FIA's new rain hazard rule adds a fresh layer to this unpredictability. With forecast precipitation probability exceeding 40%, teams are permitted to make specific adjustments, including front aero settings and ride height changes. The aim is to protect components like the plank from excessive wear when downforce levels and track grip can fluctuate dramatically. Importantly, this doesn't remove park firm restrictions entirely. Teams remain largely committed to their qualifying setup, but the limited flexibility introduced by this rule could favor teams better at reading changing conditions, both technically and operationally. This is precisely where Verstappen's experience becomes particularly relevant. Throughout his career, he has repeatedly demonstrated an ability to read evolving track conditions, make decisive tire strategy calls, and execute under intense pressure. In wet or mixed conditions, those qualities often translate into substantial advantages. Even in dry conditions, the strategic landscape stays complex. Tire choices, stint lengths, and pit stop timing will all play critical roles. Red Bull's pit crew, consistently among the fastest, adds another layer of potential advantage. A clean, rapid stop can be the difference between holding track position and surrendering it. For Mercedes, the challenge is converting qualifying pace into race control under conditions that may not remain stable. Antonelli's relative inexperience in leading from the front under sustained pressure is a variable that cannot be dismissed, even if his qualifying performances have been outstanding. Managing tire degradation, responding to strategic moves from behind, and handling potential weather changes all require a level of race management that goes beyond pure outright speed. His own words acknowledge this reality. Pole position is nice, but the race is what truly matters. That's not just a cliche. It's a recognition that the task ahead is fundamentally different from what he just completed. And this is where the psychological dimension begins to surface. For the first time this season, Mercedes is confronting a scenario where their advantage is being challenged. And that challenge is coming from a driver and team that appear to be regaining form rapidly. Knowing that Verstappen is now within striking distance, both in terms of pace and position, changes the dynamic entirely. It introduces pressure, not panic, but a clear shift in mindset. Decisions that might previously have been straightforward, when to pit, how aggressively to defend, whether to cover and undercut, become far more complex when the margin for error shrinks. From Red Bull's perspective, this is exactly the opportunity they have been building toward. A competitive car, a driver rediscovering his form, and a race environment that rewards adaptability. It doesn't guarantee victory, but it creates conditions where victory becomes genuinely possible. So as we look ahead to the race, the conversation has shifted. It's no longer about whether Verstappen can challenge. Qualifying already answered that question. The real question is how far that challenge can extend over a full race distance under conditions that may test every aspect of performance, technical, strategic, and psychological. Is this the moment where Verstappen and Red Bull fully re-enter the championship fight, transforming a season that began with frustration into one defined by resurgence? Or will Mercedes, with Antonelli on pole and a fundamentally strong package, reassert control and contain the threat before it fully develops? Let me know what you think. Is this the beginning of a genuine power shift, or just a temporary convergence of performance? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe to my channel F1 News and press the bell icon.